Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode on the Fireside Chat on the role of generative AI technologies and natural language generation and understanding in policy making. Today, we have Tajul joining us for this session. Now, for the first one, how do generative AI technologies contribute to the policy making process and support policymakers in their work? Over to you.
Thank you, Miza. It's great to be here. First of all, I think we need to first understand what are generative AI technologies. So generative AI technologies like natural language processing, NLP, and machine learning actually offers immense value to policymakers. Firstly, their technologies can actually analyze large volumes of data, structured or unstructured, such as public opinions over social media, discussions, academic research papers. These are all able to extract valuable insights. So by understanding the sentiments, the citizens' sentiments and concerns, policymakers can actually make more informed decisions and design policies that will align with the public needs. Secondly, I think generative AI can also assist in scenario modeling and simulations, enabling policymakers to evaluate the potential impact of the different policy options before implementation. This helps them identify most effective strategies and anticipate potential challenges.
Thank you, Taojo. Now, moving on to the second question that I have for you. Could you provide some practical examples of how natural language generation and understanding can be applied in policy making?
Sure. Natural language generation can be utilized to automate generation of reports, summaries, and policy briefs. For instance, instead of spending hours manually drafting reports, policymakers can actually leverage NLG systems to quickly generate comprehensive summaries of complex data and analysis. This saves and allows policymakers to focus on interpreting the information and making a highly valuable informed decision. So natural language understanding NLU is also crucial in this aspect. By using NLU algorithms, policymakers can extract key insights and patterns from public opinions, surveys, stakeholder feedback. This helps them gain a better, deeper understanding of citizens' perspectives and concerns, and enabling more targeted policy interventions.
Those are practical examples indeed that you have shared. And now moving on to the very third question from my side is, what are the challenges and considerations that policymakers should be aware of when implementing generative AI technologies?
Yeah, so it has its own challenges. Implementing generative AI technologies does come with its own sets of challenges. So one key consideration is the data quality of the source and its bias. So policymakers must ensure that the data used to train the AI models is to be inclusive, diverse, representative of all, the majority, and unbiased, right? So this helps prevent the propagation of existing biases and ensure fair and equitable policy outcomes. Another challenge is the interpretability of the AI models. So policymakers need to be able to understand and explain how AI-generated insights or recommendations are derived, right? So where it came from, right? So this particularly is important to maintain transparency and accountability overall, right? So finally, the third point I'm trying to make here is in terms of the data protection, in terms of the data privacy, should be carefully addressed to safeguard the individual's personally identifiable information, sensitive information during data collection and analysis.
Great insights, great advice, especially on the data privacy part, which is a very common thing amongst the users as well. Now, for question 4, can you share some successful examples where generative AI technologies have been applied in policymaking?
Yeah, sure, Miza. I mean, I've been mentioning earlier, one example is the use of natural language processing in public sentiment analysis. So we've seen governments that have employed NLP techniques to analyze their social media data, public comments, news articles to gauge public opinion on specific policies or issues, right? So this helps them understand the general sentiment, identify concerns, escalate issues, and address them effectively, right? So I think the other example that I'm trying to make here is that in terms of the machine learning algorithms in predictive modeling, right? So in predictive modeling, we leverage historical data. Policymakers can actually develop models that predict the potential impact of the policies on various socio-economic factors, right? So this will allow them to make a more targeted, a more informed decisions and design effective interventions, right? So the other thing is that NLG systems have also been used to automate the generation of policy reports, making dissemination of information more efficient and accessible.
Yeah. Thank you, Tajo, for that. Now, moving on to a more forward-looking kind of questions that I usually ask our partners is, what is your outlook on the future of generative AI technologies in policymaking, and what advice do you have for policymakers embracing these technologies?
All right. So I think the future of generative AI technologies in policy making is highly promising. These technologies are still evolving and still improving as we speak. We can expect more sophisticated applications in data analysis, in decision support, and policy modeling. So my advice for policymakers is to approach the adoption of AI technologies with careful planning and consideration, right? Start with something small, a pilot project to test the feasibility and effectiveness of the technologies in specific policy domains. You don't have to start big, right? So build internal capabilities by collaborating with AI experts and fostering partnerships with academia and industry, right? And lastly, please ensure that ethical considerations, the data bias, the data privacy, protection of the personal information are all well considered and well kept during the implementation of these generative AI technologies.
Thank you, Tajun, for that, and especially your views on the role of generative AI technologies and natural language generation and understanding in policymaking. Your practical examples and approaches have shed light, especially on how these technologies can support policymakers in making informed decisions and designing effective policies, especially. Now, the challenges and considerations that you have also highlighted are also crucial for policymakers to navigate this transformative journey. Your outlook, especially on forward-looking part on the future of generative AI technologies, are exciting, and your advice are invaluable for policymakers embracing these technologies. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you, everyone.